Town manager, take the roll, please. I was looking for the clerk. You got to be the ad hoc clerk.
Councilman Fields.
Here.
Councilwoman Neville.
Present.
Councilwoman Miles.
Here.
Councilwoman Willis.
Here.
Councilman Brewer. Vice Mayor Nickerson.
Here.
Mayor Wood.
Present.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
All right. 6 are here. Next on the agenda is a moment of silent prayer, and then the Pledge of Allegiance. And please, in your moment of silent prayer, let's think about all the stuff that's going on in the current news right now with the all of the different murders and things that are going on. So remember that in your time of silence right now. Amen. Amen. Now would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America
and
and to the republic
For which it stands,
one nation under God,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty and justice for all.
All right, next on the agenda is going to be the adoption of the agenda. Are there any changes, additions, subtractions that anybody has to the agenda tonight? Town manager, do you have anything for the agenda?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. This afternoon, I sent an email to the council to add one item, not for vote, but for introduction, related to the acceptance of an appropriation of CARES Act funding. So I would ask that the council would amend the agenda to allow that item to be introduced this evening and scheduled for a public hearing on June 16th.
So what is the topic again? Give it to me again.
It's an item. It's an ordinance related to CARES Act funding, specifically for the fiscal year that ends June 30th.
Okay, for June 30th. So the 2020 fiscal year.
Correct.
Okay. I will put that as item B if it passes. All right. All right. So the looking for a motion to adopt the agenda with adding B, an ordinance to appropriate the CARES Act money for the 2020 fiscal year.
So move.
All right, it's moved by Councilwoman Willis. Is there a second?
second.
Okay, second by Vice Mayor. All right, so it's been properly motioned to adopt the agenda by adding a B, ordinance to appropriate the CARES Act for 2020 on a motion made by Councilwoman Willis and second by the Vice Mayor. Is there any discussion?
And just a point of order, we are adding this item as an introduction item to schedule a public hearing for June 16th.
Okay, we'll make sure we call it an introduction item. Okay, any other discussion on the motion? All right, seeing none, the question is a motion to adopt the agenda, adding an introduction for the ordinance to appropriate the CARES Act for 2020. On the motion made by Councilwoman Willis, second by Vice Mayor. All right, Councilman Fields.
Yes.
Okay, Councilwoman Neville.
Yes.
Councilwoman Willis.
Yes.
Who am I missing here? I gotta get my screen together. Councilwoman Miles.
Yes.
Vice Mayor.
Yes.
And I'm a yes. Did I get everybody? Is that 6-0? Did I call everybody?
Yes.
All right. Good. I want to change this view. Hold on. Okay, there we go. All right. I'm better now. All right. So that motion carries 6-0. All right. So next on the agenda is first is is an adoption of a action item, resolution to approve subdivision plat FP 2019-004 for Highland Park Townhomes at the Town Square project that you all see being built over there on Route 1 by Brady's Hill. All right, Mr. Capers.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of the Town Council, I hope you all can hear me well. My name is Will Capers, and I am the Director of Planning and Community Development for the Town of Dumfries. Tonight, we present to you a resolution to approve final subdivision plat FP 2019-004, the Highland Park Townhomes at Town Square. Please note that the approval of council for the subdivision plats is an administrative process to which the Town Council designated itself as the town's agent for final approval. This plat has been reviewed by town staff and other review agencies to which it has been concluded to be acceptable and in substantial conformance with the Highland Park Townhomes at Town Square site plan, which was approved by the Town Council on November 19th, 2020. Please note that there have been no changes made to the final plat that was depicted in the approved site plan. The approval of the resolution will allow town staff to sign off on the final plat and deeds for recommendation. Does anyone have any questions for me?
I do.
Councilwoman Willis.
Mr. Capers, has our attorney, Ms. Bandak, taken a look at this paperwork? I know it's administrative and all, and everything hasn't been changed, but I was just wondering.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Mayor, in response to Councilwoman Willis's question, the answer is yes. Mr. Capers and I have been reviewing this for a while, and I've also looked at the deeds of dedication and the stormwater management.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Capers? Any other? Councilman Fields.
With the phase that's already in progress now, when is the expected opening date of that?
Councilman Fields, with the current situation with the health crisis, I am not sure. I know construction was discontinued because of the status of what's going on. I am not sure offhand, but I will look into that and get that information for you.
Okay, appreciate it. But it does look like it's coming along very well.
I believe they were in the process of construction up until the health crisis.
Okay.
All right, any other discussion? Okay. Seeing none. What is the requested action here is to have a motion to approve subdivision plat FP 2019-004 Highland Park Townhomes at Town Square.
So moved.
Okay, so it's been moved by Councilwoman Miles.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Neville. Any further discussion on the motion? All right, seeing no further discussion on the floor for the motion on the floor is a resolution to approve the subdivision plat as stated for Highland Park Townhomes at Town Square on a motion made by Councilwoman Miles and second by Councilwoman Neville. All right. Councilwoman Willis.
Yes.
Councilwoman Miles.
Aye.
Councilwoman Neville. You're on mute.
Aye.
Okay, Councilman Fields.
Yes.
Vice Mayor.
Yes.
And that's a yes for me. Motion carries 6-0. Right, next on the agenda is a introduction ordinance to appropriate the CARES Act money for fiscal year 2020, which ends June 30th. Town Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Earlier this afternoon, I provided the copy of the ordinance that is to be introduced tonight regarding the CARES Act funding. On Friday evening, my staff and I received the confirmation of the CARES Act funding from Prince William County. The towns within the Commonwealth received their funding from their respective counties. So the total appropriation that the town is receiving would be $451,384. The ordinance that is before you is to appropriate a portion of those funds within the current fiscal year. That would allow us to recoup the cost for eligible expenses that we have incurred during this fiscal year. As you all know, this fiscal year ends on June 30th of this year. So that is only a portion of the 71,000 that is spoken of in the ordinance that is before you. Is obviously only a portion of the total amount of CARES Act funding that the town has been appropriated. So this is to cover the expenses for this fiscal year. And then I look forward to having a larger discussion with the council about the remaining balance of the CARES Act funding. So I'm looking for a motion to schedule a public hearing for this item for June the 16th.
Okay, so you say there are possibly going to be additional items that we'll be able to use, and then we'll figure out what the rest of the money for the 2021. So we have another 6 months until December 31st to spend the remainder of the money that you're not appropriating for this fiscal year.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
And this is what you're projecting that you're going to spend this month.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Any questions? Any other questions from council?
Yes.
Councilwoman Miles?
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Rogers, I just have a question about the CARES Act in general. From my understanding, the CARES Act, it was supposed to be targeted towards small businesses. Can you talk a little bit about what we can use the CARES Act for, like what funds, what expenses are authorized for? Can we talk a little bit about that, or is that a question that we can address at the hearing on the 16th?
Well, certainly. I would love to talk in more detail between now and the 16th. But what I can say in general, the CARES Act funding is to be used for expenditures that the localities have incurred due to the public health emergency that were not accounted for in their budget and that they incurred from March 1 through December 30th. The types of qualifying expenses would also include some relief to businesses. So you are correct. And so I look forward to speaking with the council about what that can look like going forward.
Okay.
And just so you know, because we have not had that conversation, none of the funds in this 71,000 that I'm speaking of in FY20 are for that purpose. So I look forward to us having a discussion about the remaining balance and how that can go towards supporting the business community.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Okay, so seeing none, Councilwoman Williams, did you have something? Okay. All right, seeing no other questions, we're looking for a motion to introduce the ordinance to appropriate this. Oh, do we need a public hearing? We got to schedule a public hearing, yes?
Yes, so the motion is to schedule a public hearing for June 16th.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah. So the motion is to schedule a public hearing to appropriate this money.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so we're looking for a motion to schedule the public hearing so we can appropriate the CARES Act money into our fiscal year 2020 budget for June the 16th.
So moved.
Okay. This motion is moved by Councilwoman Miles. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Vice Mayor. Any further discussion on the motion? All right, seeing no further discussion, motion made by Councilwoman Miles and second by Vice Mayor Nickerson is to schedule a public hearing for June 16th for the ordinance to appropriate the CARES Act money for the 2020 fiscal year. Go ahead, you're a bad boy. All right, Councilman Fields.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeVille.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miles.
Aye.
Councilwoman Willis.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nickerson.
Yes.
And that's a yes for me. Motion carries 6-0. Motion carries 6-0. Great motion. All right, I gotta get back because what was next on my agenda? I went off. All right, next on the agenda, we know our next meeting. We just scheduled a public hearing for June 16th. Just want to check. Did anybody have anything for the good of the council? Councilman Fields?
No, well, yes, I guess, like I say, just be vigilant about what's going on in and around our area within the county and our bordering counties in reference to the peaceful protests and the ones that have turned nonviolent. We need to be vigilant, keep our ear to the ground, pay attention to what's going on. If we hear anything coming up, just give us heads up so we can notify our public safety.
Thank you, Councilman Fields. Well said. Councilwoman Willis, anything for the good of the council?
No, I just want to offer prayers for everyone who are out and about demonstrating, and hope all is well with everyone there. And I'm very, very, vigilant about this COVID-19 also. Even though we're still in the midst of a pandemic, and I want everybody safe and well.
Councilwoman DeVille, anything for the good of the council?
Yes, I'll be brief, but first I just want to start by saying first and foremost, Black Lives Matter. They matter, we matter. I'll keep everyone in my thoughts and prayers. These have been troubling times. I even found myself dealing with the weight of the world, with everything going on. It took an impact on my mental health. I had to take a break from everything, take time off work, relax, meditate, do what you have to do, because this is everything. These are tough times. Also, I'm hosting with Prince William's Relic program, a virtual Juneteenth celebration. So if anyone would like to register and participate in a free program to set up a family search account, and learn how to use Relic resources, to connect to your ancestors, which is very important all the time, especially during these times. It's the information's on my councilwoman page on Facebook. You can email me if you would like to sign up. Information, wrong way. It's right here. Thank you. Stay blessed.
Councilwoman Miles, anything for the good of the council?
Yes, so I want to say thoughts and prayers to the family of George Floyd, and not only him, to anyone whose family has been impacted by acts of violence perpetuated by police, those that we've seen on camera and those that we've not seen on camera. We want to make sure that we keep them in our thoughts and prayers. They are the center, they're the reason for the civil unrest that we've seen. I don't want to refer to it as rioting or looting, the civil unrest. Martin Luther King said it best, that this is the voice of those that have unheard. We're seeing this now because people have been unheard for far too long. So we want to keep them in the center of our thoughts and prayers, and know that the council, I know that I don't speak for the council, but I like to say I think we're all on the same page when I say we're with you. None of us stand for injustice. We all of us very much are dedicated to justice and dedicated to service. So we're with you, we hear you, and we will continue to serve you. Here in Dumfries, I'm very proud of the work that our police department does. We've been very forward thinking in terms of community policing and being active with our citizens. So our hearts definitely go out to you. My heart goes out to you. And we do hear you. Again, I want to echo the thoughts of Councilwoman Neville. Please do not suffer in silence. I preach that. If what you're seeing on TV is taking a toll on you, it is okay if you're not okay, because this is not okay. And if you need to unplug the TV, if you need to speak to someone professionally, do that. Please do that, because trauma can have a lasting impact on you if you don't deal with it accordingly. If that includes speaking to a counselor, if that includes speaking to your pastor, if that includes, joining a help group or whatever, please do that, because you want to protect your mental health at all costs, because these are trying times. So again, my thoughts and prayers are out to you.
Ms. Panday, did you have anything for the good of the council?
No, sir. I'm glad to be with you all, and I'm sorry we're all sharing this very sad time.
Yeah. Mr. Capers, any save rounds since you're sitting there too? Nothing. Okay. Mr. Rogers?
I just wanted to echo the sentiments of thoughts and prayers for all that's going on in our country right now, particularly as it relates to our roles to serve the people with this institution of government. I also just want to remind the council that our local emergency ordinance, for which we continue to have virtual meetings due to the declared emergency, goes through September. So I just wanted to remind the residents and the council of why we continue these virtual meetings.
Thank you, sir. Are we getting together with the seniors this month? Are you guys doing something for the seniors?
Yes, sir. We will be doing a contactless delivery for the seniors. So we are currently taking seniors that are signing up for the meal delivery. And as soon as we have a designated number signed up, we will send that information out to council for anyone that wants to join us in the contactless delivery.
All right. Thank you, sir, for letting us know about that. Vice Mayor Nicholson.
Oh, thank you. So I just wanted to share for the council and the community that this Friday at 5 p.m. in Garrison Park, I've organized a Dumfries demonstration for solidarity and commitment to action. And what we're looking to do is just kind of have a conversation. It's not formal. It's not a protest. It's not a march. What we're looking to do is empower, educate, and inform the community on actionable steps that we can take in order to help combat the things that we're dealing with right now with regard to the civil unrest that's been spoken about. And for all of you who will be participating in other events, please be sure to be safe and know that your voice is heard louder when it's not a distraction of violence around it. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I echo all the sentiments of all my colleagues here on this council, on this esteemed panel. I just want to say breathe. You know, take time to exhale, right? Because we're consuming a lot, and it weighs on you. Don't know how much weight your thoughts have and how it brings you down. So you gotta take time to breathe. Get outside, get some air, disconnect from social media, disconnect from the television, and just breathe, exhale. I know it's a form of meditation, relaxation. Find your favorite music and just disconnect, because it is a lot going on. We're dealing with being locked in the house for a couple months because of COVID, and now we're just starting to phase. But as we're phased, we're dealing with the emotional trauma of what we're seeing on a daily basis, and how human life is impacted. If you watching a man die and it doesn't impact you, and it doesn't bring tears to your eye, then you need to check your pulse and need to check your conscience, because it's a very emotional, heart-wrenching thing. So take care of yourself. You know, I'm out walking 2 to 3 times a week, and I'm glad to see a lot of different people out in the different communities that I'm walking into. I know our DMVs and none of that is open. We get a lot of calls and questions about that. Just stay tuned to see what the state level is doing, and we're going to do based on what the state level DMVs are. Father's Day is coming up. You know, I just want to say that to all my dads, because nobody, you know, loves dads like they love moms. But I'm going to shout out all the dads out there in the world. Father's Day and to all the dads. It's like the most downplayed holiday on the calendar, Father's Day. But I'm shouting out all the dads out there, trying to give them honor in this. And yes, we do say Black Lives Matter, because that's the house that's on fire right now. It's not no other house that's on fire, but it's the Black house that's on fire. And so thank you all for just tuning in and being a part of this. And if there's nothing else, this meeting is now adjourned.